Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Velociraptor Blue. Alright you guys, so looking here at the packaging, we have more of the same Jurassic World product line style packaging that we have been seeing with the red, white, and blue color scheme. Shows you that this is Velociraptor Blue, along with a little demonstration there of the chomping action. On the back, you got another look at the dinosaur in a stylized sort of fantasy scene. And like pretty much everything else, it says a ferocious fight for survival. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get Blue out of the packaging and see what she's like. Alright you guys, so out of the box, we have Blue, and she is in a very unusual standing position. It's just kind of like she's looking up towards something, but her arms are down and they're just kind of outright. It's kind of strange that Hasbro would put her in this position, but hey, it's Hasbro. Looking at her from the front, you can definitely see there that her feet are just not very large. There's not a whole lot of surface area for them to sit on the floor. It's just a very unusual position. But that being said, she is a very nice size. I really like the size that they made this Velociraptor Blue. It fits in with the Bashers, I guess, but it's a nice, more compact size, and I think I like that scale a little bit better. Sculpting looks a little bit better also than what we've seen with some of the other Basher biters, and color scheme is very similar to the Growler Velociraptor Blue. Give you a close-up here of her head. As you can see, it really doesn't look all that bad. I mean, at least here at the snout, Hasbro did a pretty nice job, sculpting the detail there on her snout. It really does look pretty good. The eyes look very nice. The teeth look pretty decent. Definitely look better than they did on the Growler, Charlie, and Delta. All in all, it looks pretty good off the bat. She does have a little bit of an overbite, which you can see there, but it doesn't take away all that much from the figure, as much as you might expect. Now, Blue does come with a harness attached to her out of the box. You can get it off. You just pull it off like that. It's on there pretty good, but you just take it off like that. And you can see the rest of her body. She's got some dino damage, but it is very, very minor. You can't see it all that well, which I do appreciate and do prefer. Her arms are in this very weird outstretched position, which I really don't like all that much. As far as how they look pretty good. They sculpted them pretty nicely. They painted her claws, which are nice. It's decent. It isn't anything, all that wonderful, but, it looks pretty good. The neck looks pretty good, too. There are only 2 screw holes on one side, so that's like a huge thing, because probably this is the least amount of screws we've seen on any Basher Biter figure. The Indominus had 3. So I guess we're moving in the right direction, maybe. But yeah, the coloration is the same as what we saw with the Growler. It's not accurate to the film. It's basically like a jungle green sort of thing, very deep green, along with inaccurate black stripes. They should be blue, and yellowish cream color underneath the dinosaur. And it's not accurate to the film. I mean, it looks okay, but if I hadn't seen what Blue would look like in the film, I might appreciate it, but it's inaccurate, and that kind of does bother me a little bit. The legs look, moderately detailed. You can definitely see some work was done in there. The JW logo, looks pretty good. She's got her sickle claws, which actually look pretty nice. They're nice and curved right there on both of her toes. And they did paint the rest of the claws on her feet as well. Like I was saying, there isn't a lot of surface area for you to stand her on. You can see there's barely anything right here. It's probably not even an inch worth of surface area on either foot, which is making her pretty difficult to stand unless you get it, tweaked just right. They don't both sit flush on the surface, which is unfortunate because it would make it easier to stand her. Or better yet, they should just put her in a neutral pose, which would, solve those issues. The tail looks pretty good. It's actually pretty nice and long compared to the Growlers, which is a good thing. And, looks pretty decent. I think it's a little bit too thick back here, but it is an improvement over the other ones. As far as articulation goes, you can move her arms back and forth. They do get a little bit hindered by the harness if you have it on. The legs also move back and forth a good bit, but you know, if you're moving them around, it's probably so that you can figure out how to get her to stand. As for her action feature, unlike most of the other bashers and biters, which had 2 action features, like the Indominus Rex, she only has 1. And to activate it, you're going to do the same exact thing you do with the others. You pull the tail down, and her head just kind of, you know, tilts to the side, and her mouth opens. It seems to work pretty well. You don't have to pull it like all that hard. You know, gimmicky, of course, but almost kind of looks like she's talking or something. But it seems to work pretty well, and you know, not a whole lot of complaints from me with that action feature. I think it works okay. The inside of her mouth, you do get some detail there. The roof of her mouth, you can see that there is some sculpt work done to her. And she has a sculpted tongue that does look similar to the Growlers, Velociraptors. And unfortunately, you cannot remove the headgear with the camera there. It'd be really nice if you could. I really wish they would have made it so that you could, but it is what it is. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. Her harness that we removed a little while ago is very plain. It's just basically this brown looking thing. And there's a little bit of sculpted detail in it, but not a whole lot. That's where you insert the cannon I'm going to show you. And the cannon right here is what you're supposed to attach into that harness while she's wearing it. And it's just like a launcher, basically. It has a net very similar to the one that came with the Mosasaurus and the submarine. It's got a big red button right there, which, you know what happens when you press the red button. It launches the projectile. And it even has like a grip, like a handle, like as if, you know, a human might need to like hold it like that. You know, very interesting. And it does have quite a bit of power to it. If I launch it like that, it does come out with quite a bit of force, you know, which is pretty cool. The projectile itself is just this, you know, black net sort of thing. Not a whole lot to it. Very bland, very simple. So the way that you connect the cannon into the harness is you see the hole right there. You just put it in and you can kind of spin it around, and then we'll put the projectile back in there. And that's basically all there is to it. It goes in there and she can shoot the missile. It is especially hard to get her to stand while she has that launcher on her, because, you know, it obviously throws the weight off. If you kind of play with it for a little bit, you can kind of get it. It's very, very tricky. You know, it's just one of those things. If they would have put her in a neutral position, it would have worked a lot better, I think, for this. But, you know, now she's just trying to compensate for the weight. Oh, there we go. She's standing. So, you know, it is doable. You just kind of got to play with it a little bit in order to find that sweet spot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters Velociraptor Blue. As you can see here, I've kind of tweaked her a little bit, and I'm cheating because I'm having her standing on her little claw right there. And I think it's a more natural looking pose, and, you know, she seems to hold the weapon a little bit better like that, since, you know, she's just kind of using her claw for balance, and it seems a little more stable like that to compensate for that extra weight. All in all, I think that it is it's decently sculpted. It does look better than some of the other basher biters we have gotten. I think that the sculpt work on it is quite good. The detail on it is pretty nicely done in the snout area and in the mouth. It could be more detailed, but for what we got, it really isn't too bad. The paintwork on it is nice. Unfortunately, it's not accurate to the film, but, you know, it does look, you know, pretty decent. The articulation is pretty minimal, and you're going to spend most of your time kind of tweaking her in order to get her to stand. And in fact, I think that's probably why they made both of these arms stretched out, you know, possibly so that you can use them for balance like I did here. The action feature is okay. Seems to work all right on her. The first one of these I found at Walmart had a broken action feature, which didn't work at all. This one, you know, works pretty well. The launching missile is okay. I mean, for playability, it is, you know, not bad. The spring is pretty strong and throws the projectile pretty far. So, I'm sure if you're a kid, that's going to be fun for you. Oh, and although she's not bad, in fact, on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 stars. She's decent. She could have been a lot better. And the standing issue for me is the biggest problem that I have with her. Of course, you can't remove her headgear, which is kind of a bummer. But, obviously I have other Velociraptor Blues that I could use, without the camera gear and stuff. So all in all, she's not bad. If you're collecting the Hasbro Jurassic World Bashers and Biters, I think this is probably one you're going to want to pick up. I actually like her a little bit more than I expected to. So on that level, I would say that you might consider picking her up. All right, my friends, if you enjoyed this video, then I do encourage you to please like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you think about Velociraptor Blue. Be sure to check me out on Twitter. There's a link down in the description. And as always, I want to thank you for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.